catching on Steam. We can promote that.
And we're live, Nick. Frank doesn't watch Breaking Bad.
Hey, I have something to say. You two suck at peddling meth.
Wow.
You impressed, Johnny? Impressed. Beastly.
Welcome everybody to Esports Canada TV episode number 53. The show where everything's factually researched and the points mean everything in the world. I'm your host, @QuinInTheNet. You can follow me on Twitter or not. You probably already are because you're a big fan of the show and everything that I do. And I'm joined by my returning host. He was absent last week. There he is, staying hydrated. He was doing some parent-teacher activities because he's
Pretty fun.
He's a real boy with a real job.
Hate my life.
Nick Song, how you doing this evening?
Oh, it's good to be back. Last week was pretty brutal. It was pretty brutal. Some cool parents, you know, you get the cool ones who are like, "Oh, you're doing a good job." Then you have the ones
watching, Nick,
who come up and ask you for loads of requests that you just possibly cannot do.
Are these erotic requests?
Like, Nick, get a girlfriend.
Yep, like that one. Working on it.
And Frank, how are you this evening?
Okay, I'm coming down with illness. My daughter started like preschool and stuff, so
and she's just coming home an infested bag of disease every day.
I'm sick too.
Dear God, guys. Huh? Well, don't give me any sort of like internet cold.
I can't wait until you come in October, John. I'm going to cough all over your face while we kiss.
If you're still sick, come WCS. Then you have bigger problems than getting me sick.
It's perpetual, dude. You never stop being sick as a teacher.
That's true.
Forever.
Isn't your wife sick right now? Or, sorry, your girlfriend?
No.
No? Oh, she does something, then.
Out here in the
Must
East.
be all that shame she eats living with you.
Oh, harsh. So, our guests tonight, of course, are the two black boxes beneath us. Can't wait to get into the questions, such as why is your life a giant void? How black is too black for a box?
Is it even black or is it like midnight?
It's midnight.
Ebony.
It's the void. Yeah, so we plan on having a little League of Legends special because the Worlds are coming up this weekend, but we had both of our guests pull out the last second. A little bit of coitus interruptus on their part, and so we had to scramble and see if we could find some other League experts, but it was all for naught, so you're left with the three of us who know little to nothing about League of Legends. But that doesn't mean there won't be any show because we love this. We love the two people who just tuned in. We love all of them, so we wanted to continue and do the show. But I do want to talk about the League of Legends world because I know, Frank, you had some questions about a couple different things, like why is it starting so late? And
yeah, we can talk about this stuff.
I mean, I still have an opinion. Hydrolus is there. Hydrolus, do you want to come on the show tonight and talk to us about WCG?
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea. We should just pop you in.
You want me to invite him in here, or do you want to make?
We'll just see in the chat if he says yes, and then we'll bring him on. Let's talk about the worlds. Let's talk about the worlds first for a couple of minutes, and then we'll jump into WCG. But the worlds are starting at, I believe, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Is that the
that's
Staples?
12 your time, right, Joe?
It's
that's
Staples.
Like
midnight.
Yeah, midnight. So Staples Center, that's in Los Angeles, right? So that's on the
Correct.
west. So that's 3 hours behind. So their time, it starts at 8 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, that seems reasonable for, I guess, some sort of concert venue or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, usually the concerts start around then, right? So I guess
this is like an event that is going to take a minimum. Well, I guess yeah, you're right. Well, okay. So are you guys fine with that start time then? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's fine. The thing is, they're just not pandering, but they're trying to make it convenient for Asian audience.
That's what I thought.
If you look at Korean and Chinese time, where the audience for League of Legends is absolutely massive, it's like noon or 1 in the afternoon. It's perfect.
Yeah. No,
So-
I think
perfect lunchtime.
yes-
Get a bowl of
Yes,
rice.
yes, it's sort of late for people in North America. Not anyone on the West Coast. I mean, it's 8 o'clock start time. That's nothing crazy. That's like going out to a movie, etc. But yeah, for like east of California, it does kind of suck. But I think we're kind of used to staying up till all hours of the night. It's the same as like if a giant tournament in Korea happens. I mean, like GSL finals. If you want to watch them, you stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning.
it's
So
true.
I mean, if they made it, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, you're not going to get anyone. So they had to. I don't have any complaints about the time, and I do actually plan on watching it.
So the only problem is this thing I think is guaranteed a minimum of about 4 hours. So there's only one set of like one tournament happening. It's only between
It's
the
a
finals.
best of 5 between the 2 top teams.
Right. So we're looking at most likely a minimum of 4 hours, right? But this thing could go on for quite a number of hours, and it could go on until like I don't know, like let's say 9 or so in the morning. Like
I think that's a bit much.
it would. Let's say it goes right to an ace match, and there's some epic battles. I mean, this thing could draw out for a long time, which will be kind of weird.
The
I
thing
think.
is, last time, the last Worlds was actually held during Frag for Cancer 7, and I was helping set up, or I was running it on Saturday, and that's when the finals were Saturday night. And I remember we finished up around like 10:30, and I messaged my friend, because I was staying at his place, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Oh, the Worlds just started." And I was like, "Oh, sweet." Hung out at the venue for a while, talking to a bunch of people. I get to my buddy's place at like 12:30, maybe 1, and the first game hadn't started yet. And so there was like 2.5 hours of pre-show just to hype up this one match. And I definitely agree, you need hype and pre-show and all that. That's what makes a match of that caliber. But they're going to be able to fill as much time as they want to, or as little as they want to. I think it's in their control.
Yeah. Well, I hope. I mean, in a whole bunch of cities, we're going to have pub comps and everything, and it's going to have like huge turnouts. And I mean, the venue itself. Which I guess is kind of the next topic, is they booked the Staples Center. So, in your opinion, do you guys think that this is a huge step for esports, or is this maybe biting off more than we can chew at this point?
I think it's a huge step for North American esports.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a too big of a bite for us to chew if the event doesn't turn out to be everything that people have dreamed of, right? If some sort of mishap happens, but if it's run well, which I assume Riot will do.
Yeah.
As their last tournament went very well, and this is great. I mean, it's on the Staples Center's website, the front page, in between. I don't know what were the 2 bands. I have a picture here somewhere, but yeah, I'll find it.
Oh, it's Depeche Mode plays October 2nd, and then the league finals are October 4th, and then the Lakers play.
So it's sandwiched between these like 2 big. Well, I don't know how big the other band is, but I know the Lakers are pretty huge.
Depeche
Mode's pretty big.
Depeche Mode's a pretty sweet band.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say that it's great for publicity for sure. Like just even seeing that, like when we had the previous LOL viewing event in Toronto, and it was on like the front of a movie theater, and like people driving by and walking by actually saw it.
Yeah.
That was cool because it like legitimizes it in the public sphere. It's not just like something you guys do in the dark or in a bar in a basement. It was like right there in the public space, right? So that's pretty cool. But if League of Legends fills every seat, are they still out on this? I heard they said that we are in the red for doing this event. Not as a company, but for this event, they know they're spending money on this. It's not going to be a money-making venture. So how does that grab you?
I think that's them being pretty facetious. This is going to be it has to be a moneymaker.
You feel? Yeah.
Well, like the amount of like ticket sales they're gonna do. Let me just fix the screen regions here because
What is the cost of
Taylor
the
is
Staples
joined
Center?
us.
Typical.
Pardon?
I think the
It's like a 20,000 seat venue. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like the Lakers play there, the Kings play there. It's a massive place.
Yeah.
Well, I think Montreal has the most. I don't think it's about 20. I think Montreal's arena holds like 20 something. They're probably in the 8, close to 20s, but under 20, I would say. But still, so they sell every one of those.
Yeah,
seats.
but I mean that's with a hockey game going on.
Oh,
they're
true,
gonna be able
true.
to fill the floor, right?
Yeah, they're probably gonna have a smaller space just for a stage. That's a good point. I don't know. This is just what their public statement was. They're just saying, but like I think that it's a huge money expenditure, right? Just to rent out that place first of all, and
well, I mean,
and
last
like
time they hit 1.2 million or something on Twitch, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's throw out some Twitch ad revenue figures just off the top of our head. Let's say be really conservative, they get $2 per 1,000 people that watch an ad. Okay, well, 10,000, they're making $20. 100,000, they just made $200. A million, they just made $2,000 every time they run a 30-second commercial.
Yeah.
How many 30-second commercials are they going to run in their 7-hour broadcast?
We should run a commercial right now. Get ourselves $2,000.
I'm not saying that they're breaking the bank. I mean, they might walk away with $50K worth of ad revenue just from
That'll help
alone. But I mean, think of all the ad revenue they're getting from gaming companies, from everything, right? It's being shown on TV in China and Korea. It's massive, right? I just don't see them. This is why artists go on tour and do shows. They don't make money off their CDs. They make money doing live shows, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I hope they make money off of it because I think this is really good for esports to have it in like a venue like that. Staples Center is a known place, right? So that's
and I mean, it's sold out. So.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's sold out.
And I know in Toronto, our first theater that we booked, it got sold out. So Chris Chan actually booked another theater that he's filling up. The second theater is the second venue. It's absurd. So those are positive numbers.
Very much so. I just want to welcome Taylor, aka Hydrolist or Hydrolist, to the show. He was recently at WCG Canada. Welcome, Taylor.
Hello. You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can quite clearly.
Perfect. Alrighty, yeah. This is all just kind of impromptu, so I wasn't sure what was going to work here. But
we like bringing on the guests. Like this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. What was your Twitter, real quick? Just so
I got
add
it.
your name. Oh, fantastic.
There you go.
Hydrolist. That makes a lot of sense.
I figured you were going to throw it in there.
And I think adding a title just froze.
Do you follow LOL, Taylor?
Split for me? Fantastic.
Not so much. A lot of my high school buddies do, and they're like really into it, and they're all like, "Oh, you follow StarCraft, you suck." But like, I know the teams. I know that I follow the LCS kind of like just through coverage sites, but I don't sit down and watch it on Twitch or anything.
Well, that sounds about right. So then maybe I can ask you, do you follow Dota at all?
Just the international, so
I'm in the
not
same
very
boat.
much.
And I feel the world's. I don't think it's on the same level as the international. Just for me personally, just because I don't feel Dota has those big events or hasn't in the past. Like the international 2 and 3 were the major events. But then again, I can't really name any other league tournaments other than LCS off the top of my head, other than like DreamHack or etc. But I don't feel it's the same big deal as the international. But I guess I'm just completely biased.
So can I ask you guys this question? I think that everyone should be able to answer this. There's always kind of been this arms race between Dota and LoL, right? And when Dota announces their prize pool for their event, then LoL one-ups them and, twice as much a prize pool, right? So this time, for the LCS Worlds, we have a prize pool of $2,050,000 US.
Okay.
For the Dota prize pool this year, and they did something cool for Dota, right? They opened it up to kind of like crowdsourcing, like they offered these cool perks and people were able to spend money. All that money went to prize pool. So Dota did something pretty cool, which helped alleviate whatever cost that Riot would have to do for theirs. So Dota's prize pool was $2,874,382 US. Does this say anything about this this battle? I mean, are they actually in some sort of a competition, or is it just good for esports that they're both throwing these huge prize pools?
I think they're in competition in so much that they're both in esports and they both have the two most similar games out of all the popular games right now.
Yeah.
But I don't. I mean, you always have to look at your competition as much as Coke and Pepsi are in competition, but at the same time, they're both billion-dollar companies, right?
Right.
They're both going to be sold everywhere all the time, nonstop. And so I think it's more friendly competition where it benefits everyone involved, both the companies and neither one of them is going to put the other out of business. All of a sudden, the league's not going to get so big that Dota just ceases to exist, right? And I think it's healthy competition the same way that MLB and NHL can both exist. Yes, they're both in spectator sports. They both take place in North America. They're team games, but do they really have that much to do with each other?
I have something to add kind of too. So Riot makes League of Legends, and that's their only product right now, right? So they're focusing on League. I don't think Valve sees it as much of a competition as Riot might because, they have Steam, they have so many other games, they have so many other projects going on that if Dota 2 doesn't outmatch League of Legends, I don't think it's as big of a deal to them as if League of Legends, starts to lose players to Dota 2. So maybe it doesn't feel as fierce of a rivalry between the companies because Valve just has so many other things going on, but that's just how I see it. So,
League's just kind of poking at Valve. Now it's just this huge thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Riot's the king of the hill right now, right? And so they might be a little more afraid of Valve than Valve is of it, because all Valve has to do is release Half-Life 3 tomorrow, and everyone says, remember that game we used to play, League of something? Yeah, that game was pretty okay. So Half-Life 3, yeah, okay. But yeah, Valve has so much more going on. Riot has all their eggs in one basket, and I don't know if they've had any talks of coming out with different games or even expanding upon League of Legends, because it's basically been the same game, albeit added in some characters. And they did come up with a new sort of game mode, but I don't feel that took off anything other than, friends playing ARAMs or friends playing, I can't remember what the addition was, where it was taking towers and holding them.
See, the whole thing about League, though, is that the creators of the original Dota All-Stars, they split, right? So one guy went to do League and the other guy stayed with Dota. So Dota is embedded within the Valve network, and League of Legends, although it's massive, is exactly the same type of thing, right? It's just its own game. So I don't think they're looking to be like any sort of platform like Valve, because the guys who make Dota, that's what they make. That's all they do. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think I look at the prize pools, and this in a way signifies that not necessarily that Dota's taking over League. League is still the number one, as far as I can tell from what I've heard before with numbers. It's the most played game in the world. But these numbers signify that there's a lot of room for ingenuity, and Valve really showed something cool with this. Even like what they did with CSGO, they're doing it with that as well. Just it gets people in the community to put their money where their mouth is. If they think their game is the best, they're going to buy these tickets and buy these compendiums and stuff, and then that's going to go to the prize pools. And then look at our prize pool; it's the biggest one in the world because our community speaks for us, right? So a lot of cool ingenuity there. So there's what I find that at least with competition, it's really pushing the envelope. These people are really changing it up and really doing some ingenious things. So it's quite exciting to see these things that pop out.
Yeah, I feel like I just don't know where League kind of goes from here. Maybe the same as Dota. Is it enough just to have this one big tournament throughout the year, and then you have your big finals at the end, and that's kind of wait till next year? But I guess that's kind of all sports, is it not?
Yeah, they have their big hurrah, Stanley Cup, pennant, Grey Cup, all that stuff.
There's always that off-season thing, right? And that's where people kind of look at the smaller tournaments or even just play by themselves recreationally.
Yeah, but I feel like even League doesn't have an off-season. Esports doesn't seem to have an off-season.
Yeah, there's always
for every month that's slow, it's filled the room with community tournaments or whatever's going on. But the same can be said for NHL when the NHL's not playing, there's kids in their backyard.
There's the Olympics that they do. And
the Olympics.
The juniors and stuff. Yes, sir.
Fair enough.
Good thing.
They're the exact same thing.
Sports is sports. Yeah.
I'm super sad right now because XSplit's such a pile of ass that I can't do anything right now because it's frozen. Because all I tried to do was add in text for Taylor, and it just broke. I need to start using OBS. I don't know why I don't use OBS exploit. I'll just next week I'm gonna reinstall exploit and see what happens. Because I want the reason is because WCG Canada happened over the weekend in Montreal. This was the national finals, and Taylor, you were there, and you had some lovely pictures, and I wanted to show said pictures.
Oh, awesome!
And now I can't.
Facebook.com/Hydrolus. They're all there.
Fantastic. No, these look great. Tell me about the weekend.
It was a great time. Like, I wasn't really sure what to expect in terms of how many people, because it was a BYOC. They said there was 300 tickets that could be sold, and then they had the WCG Canada tournaments for World of Tanks, Crossfire, which is kind of like a Counter-Strike type game, which I guess has been around for a while, StarCraft 2, and then they had a promotional tournament for League of Legends, which wasn't, so the league team that won doesn't actually go to China, but they had a tournament there. So I wasn't really sure what to expect in terms of the amount of people that were there, but there was a good showing of people in the BYOC and in the tournaments, and yeah, some big StarCraft 2 names like Desro and Hendra Lisk and some of the Armada Gaming guys from Quebec. So it was a great time as a spectator. Like, I didn't play any games. I just hung around with Dave Endersword and Tony, some of the eSports Canada guys. So we just hung out, and I just watched those guys play, and it was really enjoyable as a spectator. And they put on a great event.
Nice. And how were the other games? Like, I know, the only time I ever hear Crossfire is when WCG puts it on. But I mean, that's definitely because it's super popular in
in China,
X, Y, and Z. Yeah, China. And so, was there actually people playing World of Tanks and Crossfire?
I would say it probably went in the order of, in terms of people who are playing, not just in the tournament, playing the games. Probably more people were playing League than probably World of Tanks, then StarCraft, then Crossfire. That might have to do with just being like, Crossfire and World of Tanks have larger team sizes, so there's more people. But there was the guys that were there for only one other team there. So it was kind of just like, whoever wins out of us is going to go to China. And the team that won went to China, or not went to China, but went to the WCG Grand Finals for the past 4 years.
Oh.
So it was pretty cool to have an FPS game to kind of stand behind guys and watch. And they were they were getting pretty pumped up, and nice. They wanted to. I talked to them afterwards, right when they won. I hadn't talked to them for the whole event, and I was like, "Oh, congratulations!" And they were pretty proud to say, "Oh, we're looking forward to bringing back a medal for Canada. Canada's never won a medal in Crossfire and all this stuff." So they were pretty, even though there was only one other team, they were pretty pumped to win. And nice. World of Tanks had a good showing. There was quite a few there. See, I wasn't really watching it, but there was at least 4 or 5 other World of Tanks teams which qualified from all the other Canadian regions, and there was a pretty healthy competition there. And those guys, they were screaming back and forth pretty good. So I think they had a good time.
And it's 7v7.
I think so. Yeah.
Man,
they had a whole table of people on each team. It was pretty.
Yo, these Crossfire guys. That one guy looks familiar. I think this is the team that came to the OCN land.
Let me see.
It's I posted the link in our.
Yep, that's him.
That's them, right?
Yeah, that's them.
Yeah, I remember these guys.
Frost Gaming was one of the teams there. Frost Gaming, Kanata. The guys that won, they were all from Mississauga, Toronto, or something. So it makes sense.
Yeah, FG Kanata. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I remember seeing these guys at the OCN tournament, and they were saying, "Yeah, we need to do more Crossfire stuff." I'm like, "Well, I guess so, but I don't know anything about the game." So looks like
it's a weird game. It looks like I stood behind them for a while and watched it. It looks like Counter-Strike 1.6.
Yeah.
But it's a little flashier, the colors are a little more vibrant, but that's what it looks like. And apparently in China, it's a massive game. So with the finals being in China, I bet you it'll have a big draw of the crowd and everything. So
when you say we've never won a Crossfire medal, has Canada ever brought home any medal at WCG?
That might have been what they were talking about, is that Canada hasn't even brought home any medals.
Yeah.
That's sad.
But we used to have a really strong...
Combat X was so close.
Yeah, that parting overlay with his face that lined up. It's like his shining moment. But we had a strong back years ago, the Counter-Strike 1.6 Canadian team that went to WCG Canada and it always went to China was the Team EG team, like Team Evil Geniuses. So they had, that's really where they got their start, right? They got Intel Canada sponsoring them because they had the best Counter-Strike team, and it all kind of snowballed from there. So we used to have a strong 1.6 team, but other than that, I don't really know. I don't think we've won a medal, no, unfortunately.
Is that true, DJ McTwist? You can maybe tell us in chat if Canada has ever brought a medal home for
And he's saying Crossfire is really big in Brazil as well. So. And Brazil, I think, has a pretty big contingency for Counter-Strike. Did they not?
And Dota. Don't forget Dota.
Don't forget
Dota.
Hilarious. Cool. And then, of course, StarCraft is what you were down for. How was the tournament?
It was great. It was actually, I don't know if Tony's watching, but so I was sitting beside Desro. Desro was playing Jig, Killing Spree's Jig. It was like the semifinals or the quarterfinals, right? And so Tony had the BYOs, like he had the table right. He might get mad at me for talking about this. They've resolved all this, so keep this in mind.
Was it Tony Tran? Just tell me if it was Tony Tran.
Were you watching the stream?
Oh yeah, I tuned in like right afterwards when they were talking about like, well, it's now been made into a best of 5 because there was this thing, and they went on about how there was.
Oh my god, tell Tony Tran stories.
Tony was sitting right across from Desro, and I was sitting beside Desro, right? So it was pretty funny. It created like this whole controversy because. Well, not really, but
so I'm killing esports, man. What's going on?
Yeah, that's what I said. eSports Canada is like we're trying to, we want Ontario to win or something. So he's sitting right across. So Desro pauses, and then I'm sitting beside him. So I look at him. He types, effing scumbag, kick to my table.
Oh no!
And then I look across, and it's Tony sitting there. But Tony's like playing a ladder game or something. Like Tony's not even moving, right? He's
like
he didn't know. Still. He didn't do anything. So then they pause, and then I'm sitting there, and I looked away for a second, and then Desro smashes his headphones off the ground when he loses that first game. And then he got they extended to a best of 5 or whatever because somebody kicked the table. So we were joking all weekend how Tony was killing esports.
Tony. But you weren't at LAN ETS, were you?
No, I wasn't. But I met all those guys who are incredibly awesome, so I'm excited.
Yeah, you should come with us next time for sure.
Yeah.
I know that at the last one, like during LAN ETS, it's a madhouse, right? Like there's not a seat that isn't filled, and there isn't a spot that isn't occupied by a human being. And it's nuts because the place where Desro decided to sit, I think he was sitting like with his back to like this big League of Legends crowd, and there was this big group watching that game, and people were like bumping into his chair, like even the slightest thing, and when you're in the heat of battle and stuff. But I know he needs that control of his environment. So poor Tony had to be in the fire though. Okay. Because
what happened was Jig, it was the very first game, and Jig 6 pooled, and then all Desro had to do was get the wall up, and he went to go like finish the wall basically with a gateway.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
And like it was there, like all he had to do was click, and all of a sudden it got canceled. And everyone was just like, oh, that's weird. And then he paused the game, which is like someone's kicking my table.
Damn.
And so because he had to cancel that, he lost, and so that's like instantly through to the headphones. So I mean, if that's any other part of a game, you can kind of get by it, pause it, and be like, "Hey, can everyone back off?" But I mean, because the table basically instantly loses the game because it is that like magic moment where you have to be prepared. But that's hilarious.
Has to save themselves from the Zerg swarm. I do want to say, Destro really, he did excellent though. Like he came back and beat Jake later on, and he played like next level, and then he took Henry to a second set in the grand final. So I was super impressed with his Protoss play there. I'll say that.
And to his credit too, like he, like every LAN event, there's a lot of waiting. And like the first day, I think he was there for like 10 hours and like didn't play a game or something. Like it's not like it's, and he was like, he's not like, needless to say, he's not like a dick. Like he talked to Tony afterwards, and he's like, it's heat of the moment. Like it's just, I was exhausted. It was a long day, like stuff like that. So I'm not trying to throw Desert under the bus. He was a really nice guy, and he played awesome. Like even at the end, he was talking to. I made a little video right after the final game in the grand finals where Desero and Henderlisk are talking, And he mentions how he'd been laddering all day, playing all these like GM players, all these GM Zergs, and none of them like trying to figure out like what he might come up against in the final against Hendry Lisk, and none of them used the same build, and how he was just like so thrown off. Like I can't believe like he like Suppy, like Johnny Rico, all these great players did any build anything like that. So it was a pretty high skill final. So
Henry, man.
yeah, Henry, he's a, and he was so excited when he won. Of course, he almost smiled. So yeah,
sounds like Henry.
Yeah.
Oh, now I have to go to China. That was his reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
He qualified last year and went as well, correct?
Yeah,
Henry, him in combat.
And Combat X.
Yeah.
So we send the one for StarCraft, right?
No, we send all three. It was all three of them went.
No, this year. Who goes this year?
I think it's only Henry this year, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So we gotta...
Yeah, because last year it was Western, Central, Eastern.
Yeah.
Because Alexi Moi actually won the Eastern, but then he couldn't go because of visa issues or something, and then... So Combat X got the spot. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I wish Henry luck.
I do so.
I'm interested to see who else has qualified so far across
that link
all the other countries.
Oh, never mind then. Sorry, because the link I put up is a picture of all the people who won the game at the event. StarCraft, League of Legends, World of Tanks, and Crossfire.
Winners.
Show any pictures, can you?
I can't show anything. I can't do anything right now. My computer might as well be from 1997 right now.
Thunderbar. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you actually go up with Dave and Tony, or did you find your own?
No, I live here, and I just moved to Montreal September 2nd or something. So luckily for me, all I had to do was hop on the subway for 15 minutes, and I was there. So
that's awesome.
It just also means that now getting to WCS in the end of October is going to be much more difficult too. So I'm trying to figure out a way to
dive in with Matthew Morin and Thierry and all those guys. Find a way to win with them.
I know. I think getting down there is not too bad. Like if I book a bus early enough, and I'm sure like a whole whack of people from Montreal are coming down, but it's just like even if I were to live in Toronto, like have my parents or something, it's still like because the event's so far to like the downtown core, like it still takes you an hour to get from like downtown to the venue. So
it's gonna be worth it though.
No.
You're coming though, right? You're coming though, right?
Oh, I can't. I don't even know, man. I want to really bad, but
oh no.
I feel
You're
like
lucky John can't kick you off the show right now because of XSplit.
Oh, I can still drop him out of the Skype call. I still have Skype controls because we all know Skype is an amazing program. Thank you to our sponsor, Microsoft.
What involvement are you guys going to have at, just quickly, what involvement are you guys going to have at WCS with eSports Canada, and is there anything finalized in terms of, you guys run as refs and stuff like that, or what?
That's a good question.
Well, I know at this point the volunteers aren't going to be as numerous as they were for NASL Season 3 because there's not that WCS Canada portion going on, where before it was the 8 finalists for NASL plus, like 32 people for WCS plus CSL finals plus tribes. So they did need a lot more volunteers than they're going to need for WCS. I do know that we are going to be involved in some capacity. To which capacity, I don't know or I can't say.
Yeah, like last year it was a massive event, right? And like John said, there was like all these different moving parts. And
it's still going to be massive in terms of audience and viewership and everything else. But in terms of the tournament, it's a lot more streamlined and kind of, we don't need 15 admins, we need 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will be there regardless as spectators, and
we all bought our tickets anyway.
Yeah, obviously.
So
premium
I'm
prices.
going, even if I was in Montreal. So that link I put in your in the chat, John Quinn, is Matthew Morin actually put that in there for us. So it'll show you all the qualifiers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so Daishi, Haswabs,
Braddock, and live there from Russia. South Korea partying again.
Oh, well, Innovation qualified, so GG everyone. Although he hasn't actually been playing that well lately in terms of, like, absolutely stomping people. He's been dropping games.
This is going to be a pretty good tournament. What do you? I'm going to say Henry goes all the way. Right to the final.
Henry goes all the way.
Henry wins.
Henry will make it out of his group. I don't know. I don't actually know like how it plays out, but he should make it out of his group. As long as his group's not him partying in innovation, like he shouldn't have a problem. But I mean, like Sen's there too. Sen's really good. Even like Bling, Braddock, like these are all good players who could easily defeat Henry. So, I mean, the only names I don't know are Nikolashk from Hong Kong and Albion from Japan. Everyone else I've kind of
Japanese StarCraft player though. That's a rare sight.
It is. They always have someone.
The PC gaming scene over there isn't too big. It's more into the consoles over there.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of consoles, the next thing on our ticker there was the Canada Cup event. I actually didn't get to follow too much of it this weekend because I was extremely busy with a charity mini golf tournament.
That's for real?
You would.
That's one feature, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called the Germain Street Open, and it's the greatest thing ever created.
I remember last year I made fun of you. Didn't you play like Pachinko or something? And I had to.
Plinko, yeah.
Plinko, yeah.
Yeah, we hosted a hole, and it was Price is Right. This year we did Jeopardy, and so I got to play Alex Trebek, and we built a booth and buzzers, and built like a game that people played, and then had this giant hole where we had to shoot a golf ball into Alex Trebek's mouth, and it was amazing. But we had like $2,000 worth of food and liquor that we gave away. It was all hosted at our office, and it was pretty awesome. So I was at work until 1 a.m. Friday night setting that all up, and then I was there Saturday pretty much all day. So, and then Sunday I was extremely hungover. But Canada Cup did go on, and of course Mike Daniels went out to Vancouver and was helping out with the stream. I believe he was running Canada Cup 2, the stream, all weekend long. So, and he said he got to meet just anyone and everyone in the fighting community, so I can only imagine how giddy he was all weekend long. He said he got to stay with basically one half of the Taste-Hostess of fighting games was his roommate in the hotel. So he said it was pretty much the best weekend of his life, and he'll be out again for WCS. So I definitely want to bring Mike on probably next week once he's chilled out from Canada Cup. I'm not even sure if he's home yet, but just to get a rundown of the event and how things were, and maybe show some pics if Exploit's not the worst program on the planet.
Maybe he can teach you how to use Exploit.
That's true. Maybe he could teach me how to use Exploit. I just need to restart or reinstall Exploit. But I literally start getting ready for the show at 8:55. I mean, I spent an entire week of preparation for this show.
Yeah, you can tell, right?
So prepared.
So we got 20 minutes left. What else is going on? Actually, right now, I've been kind of sitting on this because I didn't want to say anything. But right now, Huck and Major are facing off in the winners match for Group E of WCS America. So if Huck wins this, he goes on to the round of 16. And right now, it's tied 1-1. And it looks like an epic battle. But don't switch to their stream. We can't do that. We can't do that.
Yeah, we can.
It's illegal. Oh, I think Huck is going to.
Nobody watches the show.
It's hard to say. That's true. Dustin Browder tunes in. I've heard good things about this Canadian show.
Let's not watch WCS.
God, they're
check
recasting WCS without written express consent from Blizzard.
So illegal.
But no, Huck defeated Top in the craziest Game 3 ever. It was amazing. So, yeah, hopefully he makes it to the round of 16 and then the round of 8 and then top 4, and he makes it to WCS Finals in Toronto.
Bring it back.
Because that would be awesome.
Oh,
and
man.
Scarlet goes up against Minigun, Crank, and Puck tomorrow night in Group H. So, 2 chances for a Canadian to make it through for the WCS Finals, which would be pretty cool.
You're all about your little StarCraft things, huh? You've been following it like a hawk?
I've been waiting for these 2 groups to happen forever, and then I finally realized I just randomly tuned in. Actually, my boss's wife posted something about StarCraft. She's like, I can't believe I'm actually enjoying StarCraft commentary right now. What's wrong with me?
Who said that?
Oh, my boss's wife.
Oh.
And so I just like randomly tuned in. I was like, what could she possibly be watching? And then I was like, oh, WCS. Oh, Huck's playing. And so I've been watching it since then. Not during the show, though. All eyes on the show.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about.
There is. What are we gonna do here for the last 20 minutes? We're gonna play a game.
Did you want to play something?
We could.
Castle Crashers? You guys want to play Castle Crashers?
If you mention that game on my show one more time.
I'm gonna buy it for you, John.
Please do. Gift it to me right now and I'll play it with you.
How you asked to play.
If you gift me Castle Crashers, Frank, I will beat it.
Oh, jeez.
Is it a game you can beat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
It's gonna
beatable.
take some time, though. I don't know. What do you want to play? You guys name something. Hydrolis, do you want to play with us? Or are you now all giddy about Huck?
I don't even have any games on this computer that I'm on, so I'm gonna have to pass.
Oh,
What?
I don't even
going on?
game anymore, man. Like, I'm not even like. People make my friends from high school. They make fun of me. They go, "Oh, big esports guy. Like, why don't you go play one game of CS:GO and like pretend you know what you're talking about?" And like, I don't, I don't even play any of the games I watch, and they're all over. I used to. I don't
you
know,
attend
honest.
the event. And you
Yeah,
come
like
on
I
the show.
showed up, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what are you here for?" And I'm like, "Just to watch." They're like, "Oh, you're not gonna like, you didn't bring your computer, like, didn't bring your laptop." No,
I'm just here to watch.
just here to watch for.
Hey, did
Well,
you, Dave, and Tony get poutine?
Oh.
Did we get poutine? Oh my god,
Yes, is that a lot of poutine?
Well, they got a lot of poutine.
man! Like, I didn't. Okay, apparently, like, there's this place called La Belle Provence,
Yeah.
which is it's like a retro diner kind of place.
Mhm.
And we went there for lunch both days, but apparently, and then Tony got Tony. I don't remember what Dave got, but Tony got poutine both times.
Yeah.
And apparently, the night before they went there for dinner, and both got poutine again. So for like
Tony is just, oh man, he's good now.
every meal, I just imagine Tony saying, "We're going for poutine."
It's cool.
Well, we
In
saw
between
another
Deacon
place
Destro's desk, he says, "Let's go get poutine."
Yeah, we saw another place. We're like, oh, I want to go here, and then I think Tony said something like, "Let's just go with what we know works."
That's such a Tony thing to say.
It was good. Like it looked like delicious poutine. I only got the fries, but yeah, we definitely enjoyed the Montreal cuisine.
Let's just go. Let's just go again.
Go with what works. Okay.
Do you want to get a game of whatchamacallit going? You know, that one that we played that time? The party one.
Party? What are you talking about?
Rainer's Party?
Oh, Rainer's Party. Interesting.
I feel like Tuff and Tubby might want to get in. They just joined the chat.
Nah. Did they seriously?
They did. Tubby said, "Who's the guest?" And we said, "Hydrolis." And then he said, "That blonde guy on the top, I don't recognize him."
He was that. Oh, you don't recognize him?
He met him though.
Tubby, you're the worst. We should play Worms, Tubby, and I should beat you again.
Oh, worms would be fun. We all don't. Not everyone has worms, I think.
Yeah. My cat
Tubby and
has it.
Tuff, you guys want to play Rainer's Party with us? If you're man enough.
I'm sure they've already left the chat. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty cool with just ending the show and watching the rest of WCS.
Yeah, it just seems
I'm
like
fine with that as well. We don't have to.
Seems
we
like
got
a fun
we got a big week coming up.
all right. Let's go watch WCS.
It's our Canadian duty. Huck is ahead
Cheer
by
on
60.
Canada.
Huck is ahead by 60 supply right now. He's about to win Group E.
I'm
Right,
tuning in,
okay.
guys.
Guess who else is in the group?
Watch.
Tasia.
WCS America. I am on it right now.
I am on right now.
Oh, Nick, Tubby's dissing you. So, if there's any outros that we definitely need to say, it's the Dota tournament. Tubby, are you even playing in this? Our eSports Canada Dota tournament? You should be.
Should though.
And you should tell your friends.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it here. Does anyone have the link?
Yeah, I have it open.
Nice. Oh, you can't even show it.
Nope.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
Oh, Huck. So good.
Okay, Nick's already gone, so let me just... Here it is. So I'll just post it in chat. Oh, I'll post it in chat. But if you guys know anyone who's interested, the finals will be held in Toronto. But you guys can sign up and try to see if you can be one of the best teams in Toronto. I think in the future, I mean, it's nice to have these live events, but I think in the future, we have fun. Did he just win?
Yep.
Okay. Congrats, Todd. Go Canada. But yeah, gotta go fast. Dota tournament. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Go join.
Yeah.
Word.
Should we get Huck on the show? Do you want me to pull him in?
Yeah, if you can
pull
just
Huck.
Skype call him real quick.
Be like, on how to go.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
I'll just text him. Just text
Just give him a call.
him. If only.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he was listening to us while he was live.
Got Huck on speed dial, you know.
All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our shortened show this evening. We'll be back next week to talk about the League of Legends finals and getting some input from Jackie and Forecourt Jester, who were unable to join us this evening. Thank you to Taylor for joining us and talking to us about WCG Canada. Hopefully we'll have Mike Daniels as well next week just to talk to us about Canada Cup and the crazy events that went on there in Vancouver over this past weekend. And of course, there are only 4 short weeks left until WCS Season 3 Grand Finals happening in Toronto, Ontario. You can still get tickets, I believe, if you head to wcstoronto.eventbrite.com and buy those, because it's going to be amazing. You can get single-day tickets, weekend tickets, premium passes, anything and everything. Super cheap, so get those. Get them while they're hot.
We should figure out if we have any tickets to give. Should maybe figure that out for our next show.
Maybe. We might have tickets to give away during our League of Legends special.
Yeah. We'll also give away free world tickets to the Staples Center during our next show.
That's true. We're giving away round-trip airfare to the League of Legends finals for season 15.
So good.
Remember to follow us online, facebook.com/eSportsCanada, and on Twitter at eSports_Canada. And you can watch this show every Monday night on twitch.tv/eSportsCanadaTV at 8 Eastern. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Are you able to cut the show out, John? Only keeps you bobbing your head on the screen.
I literally have to control off the lead.
Oh, man.